What's going on YouTube? Today we are going to be talking about Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and if you should spend an hour and a half of your precious time watching it. And warning to everyone listening, there will be spoilers. Before we get into the movie, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. And if you'd like to get your hands on the original play and the soundtrack, there will be links in the description. So Sean's going to take it away and tell us a little bit about what this movie is.
Chicago, 1927. A recording session. Tensions rise between Ma Rainey, her ambitious horn player, and the white management determined to control the uncontrollable Mother of Blues, based on Pulitzer Prize winner August Wilson's play. So this is a play, or this movie is based on a play that was made in 1982, and is actually the second of 10 movies that Denzel Washington is producing based on the playwriters' plays that they wrote. The first one was Fences, and the next project is going to be The Piano Lesson, which he hopes to cast his own son, John David Washington, who was in the last review that we did. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
I didn't know any of that, by the way. I didn't even know this was a play when I watched it.
Yeah, neither did I. After we watched it, I just did a little research to see how much of it was real. And basically the only thing that was real was the fact that she was a famous blues singer and that she recorded at a Chicago studio.
Yeah,
but she actually recorded the actual recording where this loosely takes place was done in 1925, and the movie takes place in 1927. And all the band members in the movie are fictional, not the real band members. And all the tension, all that stuff didn't actually happen. It's all based on the play, as far as what I read when I looked it up.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did when the movie was over. I started searching for the band members just to see who was real and who was not. And I guess it turns out no one was real except for the main singer, Ma Rainey.
Yeah.
But before we talk more about the actual story and what's going on, I just want to talk about how awful these movies look on Netflix.
Yes. Netflix is notorious for throttling their stuff. I mean,
yeah, like what's the actual term for when, like the black parts of the movie end up, kind of looking gray and boxy
and gray, pixelated kind of looking and stuff.
Yeah. I don't remember the word, but that happens a lot.
Yeah, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but that's just as a product of the poor bandwidth that they push through.
Yeah, but this is also in theaters too, right? In certain theaters. Yeah,
yes,
go watch it there.
Yeah. And then I'm sure it'll have some sort of like physical release or and it's Netflix, so I think that they do physical releases with their bigger movies. I know The Irishman recently got a physical release, so I think that this is kind of like an award contender. Then it'll start getting that extra love.
Yeah, and I really think it should get that extra love, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter because this movie is not really about the visuals to begin with. So there were some cool shots and color choices, like the city, how it was always kind of that orangey brown, kind of very sunny. They weren't outside that often, but when they were, that was very stylized for the actual streets.
Yeah. I really enjoy period pieces like this in this time frame, and I felt like it was actually, the whole movie was a lot more condensed than I thought it was going to be. But the outside shot that they did have, I thought the style that they decided to go with and everything looked great, personally.
Yeah, and when you mentioned condensed, I remember watching it. It starts off with basically the backup, not the backup singers, the band.
Mm-hmm.
So and they focus on them standing around. And I want to say 20 minutes in, I'm like, why are we still in this room? Like, when are we going to move? Why are we? And then it hit me. I'm like, oh, we're not moving from this room
Yeah,
or this building.
that's basically what happened with me too. Like after probably that 15, 20 minute mark, I was like, I'm pretty sure we're staying here for the whole movie.
Yeah.
Which I was fine with. I mean, this movie is totally about the performances. And
Yeah. What do you think about the acting?
I thought the acting was, for the most part, top notch. Chadwick Boseman, obviously his last film before he passed away. I thought he was amazing. Viola Davis, she's always great in everything she does. There was a little bit from one of the band members, Toledo, that some of his stuff was a little hit and miss for me, but that's nitpicking a little bit. I thought everybody did great in this movie.
Yeah. I'm just gonna call them the supporting cast, the people that weren't, Chadwick or Viola Davis. They were a main part of the movie, and their acting was good, but I don't think they were meant to shine.
No,
You
yeah,
know,
they definitely they didn't have the same. I mean, Cutler had a pretty decent monologue, but
yeah,
it was obviously Chadwick and Viola.
yeah. I think Chadwick did amazing. Also, I was very worried that I was going to watch this movie and see the Black Panther with the trumpet. Yeah, I really
Yeah,
did, and then I couldn't recognize him. It was a totally different character, and I think that was great.
yeah. Which
And
I I saw 42. A lot of the movies he had done, or the couple of the movies that he had done before, like Black Panther and stuff, were basically historical movies and stuff. And he's really great. Marshall was another one. He's really great at getting lost in the character and really selling that character.
yeah,
And I like you, I got lost in this performance for sure.
yeah. And as for Viola Davis, I didn't know that was her.
No?
I had no idea. Like when I was watching it, I'm like, I'm like, who is this person? Just because of how, they put, um, they changed her body
Mm-hmm.
because Ma Rainey's, bigger, so they had that going on, and she was just caked up with makeup and
Yeah.
everything. As far as just eyeshadow and eye color, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I had no idea. And then afterwards, I was like, wait a minute. I watched the 30 minutes on how everything was made, and I'm like, wow, they did a lot to make her look different. So, and I actually, as I was watching it though, I didn't like her character at all.
No, her character. Uh, go go on. Well, how
All right.
so?
So basically, when I was watching it, I'm like, wow, this character is cocky, annoying, over the top. I don't, mean, like all these things that I didn't really associate with. And I was just like, all right, can we just get away from her? I'm tired of her just basically shitting on everyone. But then, as the movie goes on, and then you realize it has more of a play kind of aspect to it. It doesn't have the traditional movie,
Mm-hmm.
feeling to it. You kind of realize, what's going on, why she's being this way, and it's one of those things where she's a popular singer down south where she's from, and she goes up north, and she doesn't want to budge on anything because then they're going to go, you know, uh, take advantage of her and things like that. So that's why she's like, I want this. It has to be this way. We're going to do it this way. Because as you see with the other character,
Yeah,
he
one
gets taken
second. Yeah,
advantage
one
of.
second. Sorry.
All right. And I think all the other characters in the movie, they all have a certain kind of characteristic or theme, going on with each and every one of them. And I think that's why, I was so upset of, Ma Rainey, because I didn't get what her theme was. I didn't get where she was coming from until the end of the movie. And
Okay,
then,
but
everything
you
kind
got there
of,
though.
yeah, at the end, I was like, oh, okay, that's why this person's saying, all these things. This is why, Ma Rainey is so set in her ways and wants it her way.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the other guy, I can't remember the piano player. What was his name?
The piano player that was Toledo.
Yeah, was that the one that the optimistic one, kind of.
Yeah, yeah, he was. Yeah,
Yeah, uh,
he was the one who stepped on his shoe at the end.
yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
So he had his own theme going on and everything. You just have to, when you're watching this, you have to switch kind of modes. You know, you have to stop watching it like it's going to be an action movie or it's going to be a musical. Because I thought, it was going to be more music based. I thought there's going to be a lot of songs. They were going to start performing live everywhere. I thought it was going to be the trumpet player versus, Ma Rainey. So Levy versus Ma
Hmm.
Rainey on who's going to be better. And then is nothing like that.
Yeah.
That is not at all what it was.
Even from like the opening scene where they showed him kind of doing his own thing on stage and her giving him a look, and I thought that was, yeah, I definitely thought that that was going to be a theme throughout the movie, like you said, like them traveling, doing shows, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's not what I got. I got, Levy being there. He went through a lot of injustices and pain and trauma throughout his life. Um, and I remember watching. I was like, why is all this coming out in one recording session? But then again, I'm still not aware that this is a play, so that's why I'm like,
Yeah,
something's not making sense.
yeah. Once you learn it to play, the just the setup, the pacing, everything just, oh, okay, that all makes sense then.
Yeah. And I remember, so, going through the movie and everything, and Levy pulls a knife on people. That,
Hmm.
I think that moment where I was like, wait, this is going off the rails. That's what I'm like, something weird is going on with this movie. And I'm like, he's not going to stab people, And as things go on, I'm like, oh, he stabbed someone.
Yeah,
And but then no one's acting as like they normally would. So I'm still like, what is going on here? Like, and I'm like, oh, okay, this movie has a bunch of messages, and that's really what we're watching it for.
yeah.
But as a movie, as entertainment, I did not like it.
Okay.
When it comes to if I want to sit down, eat my food, get entertained,
Yeah,
it no,
it's definitely not a popcorn movie. You're
yeah,
not. It's it's definitely a movie that hits a lot of heavy themes and very character driven. Very it's basically takes place in two rooms, just
yeah,
kind of monologue after monologue. Yeah, so it's definitely not a movie that you go to looking to be entertained in that sense, like a popcorn flick, like.
yeah. Well, I think everyone's gonna go into it that, or most people that don't know it was a play, because reading the description, like we talked about before, it sounds like it's gonna be kind of a musical battle going on, and it's gonna be, yeah, we expected there to be some racism and stuff like that, but you know
Yeah.
it's definitely, this felt more like I was in like a history class and the teacher wheeled in, that old school TV on the cart and they were like, all right, we're going to analyze this movie for history.
I tell
You
you,
know,
if they showed movies like this though in history, I would have paid a lot more attention.
yeah, I think that's the perfect setting. It's entertaining, it gets people engaged in what's going on. And this could work for, a theater class, a history class,
I mean,
an English class,
I mean,
when you actually break everything down.
like I said, this is like a drama. It's it's not that popcorn movie, but at the same time, the performances are so powerful in it, and the messages are so powerful in it that I don't know if I totally agree with you in that sense,
Yeah.
because it's kind of sounding like you're kind of like, it's educational. I mean, all the stories. I don't know if the stories stem from any real stories. I mean, obviously they do, but the characters are all fictional. So
Yeah, and that's why I'm seeing it more in like a social studies type kind of
yeah,
way, because every little thing could be broken down. Like when Levy's trying to open that door and there's nothing on the other side of it. Like you could write a whole paper on, what the author intended that to be, and there's little things like that sprinkled in, all the time. You could say that, Toledo, he was there as the optimistic, one that lived life and kind of knows what's going on. Then you can say like Levy's the young guy who expects everything to happen a certain way and it doesn't. He doesn't know how to handle things.
Yeah.
And then you have Ma Rainey, who's just like she knows how everything works in the world that she lives in, and that's how she's kind of
I
acting.
yeah, I kind of just took it as they're just so like hurt, so damaged. I don't know. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but um I don't know. You go. You continue. Sorry. I'm trying to think of the best way to say it, and it's just that there's so much pain behind every character that gives their actions more purpose, and they explain it throughout the movie.
Yeah.
You dive in, especially Chadwick Boseman's character. You just when he goes to tells the whole story about his childhood and stuff, and you'd be like, okay, I understand I understand more why he is how he is.
Yeah. But as a movie going kind of experience, was it good on its own in your mind?
Yes. I mean, it depends on what kind of movie you're looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you want to watch that drama, and sometimes you want to watch a Michael Bay action flick.
I mean,
I mean,
I
they're
li-
totally different cinematic experiences,
yeah, I like
but
the drama.
I feel like there's room for both of them for
Yeah,
sure.
I like the drama. I would have enjoyed this a lot more if it was a mini series. You know,
For the scope of what it is, how it's contained to this studio, to this
yeah.
one recording session. I don't know if it would work as a miniseries.
No, but I mean more of um, if they wanted to get this message across using Ma Rainey as like the kind of centerpiece. I would have enjoyed it more if it was a mini series, where they did expand beyond the studio because this works as a play. You know,
Yeah.
if I didn't know this was a play and it just ended and I didn't do the research, I wouldn't. I wouldn't get behind it. I'd just be like,
It
oh, that's kind of
it
weird. Like, it needs that play for me to be like, oh, okay, this makes sense.
yeah, yeah, I guess that's true.
But I don't
Yeah.
like plays, so
You haven't seen the right ones maybe.
maybe. But it's just a lot of dialogue, and that's the format of a play. You have one stage. You can only change it so much. You have to talk a lot more. You can
Yeah.
get away with things that are more play-like.
But I think it works when you have actors of the caliber that were in this movie, you know.
Yeah, but imagine if it was, a series or a different kind of movie where it did leave that studio. Those actors could have brought it even more to life.
Well, yeah,
The
but
message.
that's not the story. I don't know. I don't know anything about Ma Rainey's actual person.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that history. So
Well,
the only
but
thing I
yeah,
know is this movie and that it was based on a
yeah.
play.
But even I don't know much about Ma Rainey after watching this because it wasn't really about that.
Yeah, it was definitely. I mean, it was definitely. It's kind of in the name in a way. But it's about that song. They're recording. I mean, it's that recording session. They're really
Yeah.
focused on that song, and like her having her nephew sing the intro to that song, and
Yeah. He nailed it. I forgot what take it was, but
I
that's
think it was.
expensive.
I think it was the seventh take.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like 30,
The way
40.
they made it seem, it was like I felt like that was take like 16, 17 or something.
Yeah. But I mean, I get it why they're like, we can't keep doing this because he messes up because that was expensive back then.
Yeah, yeah, for
You only
sure.
got one take and you got to throw that away. And
Yeah, it was like today where you could just hit a button on a computer.
yeah. So what'd you think about the ending though? when he just stabs Toledo, and it kind of just tapers off from there.
I was like, oh shit. um, like you see the conflict building and you're like, okay, he's gonna do something crazy, right? But
Yeah.
when he does it, and then he just kind of lost. Obviously, he lost it, right? When he
Yep.
realized that he wasn't going to be able to get his songs recorded his way,
Yep.
and then when he's sitting there on the ground with him, and he's just like, "Don't look at me that way," and the only thing that kind of threw me a little bit about that part was the way that the other two band members reacted.
Yeah. That's the play format.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they just kind of like, I don't know how I would react in that situation.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, everything just seemed a little calm, I
Yeah.
guess.
Well,
But
when I
he's
was
also, yeah, you go.
I was gonna say, so when I was watching it, I think at that point I turned off my brain as far as like, well, I actually no, backward, I turned on my brain, and I started thinking about the movie differently. Because when he's not gonna get his songs recorded how he wanted, you
Hmm.
know, the the studio, was just using him to get his songs for cheap.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where there's a big difference between like Ma Rainey. And she would have handled that so much differently. She wouldn't have gave those songs for
Hmm.
$5, or I think it was $5,
Yeah,
or
yeah, it's $5 a song.
yeah, or whatever it was. More of a, if you want my songs, I'm gonna sing it or give them back.
Hmm.
Things like that. And then I started saying like, oh, like why is the stabbing of Toledo so calm, like you said? And then to me, in my mind, it was just like, again, Toledo representing like the hopefulness of everything. He was like, our generation needs to do something and change. And he's trying to find, some good in there. And, Levy over there just stabbed that. So it was almost like he killed a part of himself, and that's why I'm like, oh, that's in my mind, that's what the theme was going for. And that's why all the other characters really didn't do anything, because,
Mm.
I stopped looking at the movie like literally like, oh, because really, if someone was stabbing someone, either the other two would have helped or they would have ran out, they would have screamed, they would have got someone.
Yeah, and I was I wasn't quite expecting the movie to end there. I was kind of expecting to see a little bit of the aftermath,
Yeah.
but the way that it did end, that was just like, damn, you know?
Yeah.
Like that was
Yeah.
almost just like that almost that probably hit harder than the stabbing, you know?
Oh, yeah. It just ends.
Well, not the way that it just ends. It's just like exactly what happened was
um,
just like the corny white guy singing his song with like no,
oh, that I forgot that
yeah,
happened.
yeah, just singing his song with no real rhythm that he imagined or anything like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, and that, and this movie, it's not fictional with with all the character, most of the characters and everything, but it is a lens into that world of what really happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I
that kind
mean,
of stuff happened all the time.
yeah.
So in that sense, it's
Yeah.
I'm glad I watched it.
I know a lot of people argue also that all that stuff's still happening today, and I think that's why the play is still going strong. The
Yeah.
movie is going to go strong. The message, you know,
Hmm.
the themes, even
Yeah.
though not everyone may be able to associate with all the themes. You might be able to pick something here and there that could apply to everyone's life.
Hmm.
But overall, I enjoyed it for what it was. I wouldn't watch it again, um, and I would recommend it to people that want to, want that drama, want to seek the themes. The people that don't want them popcorn flicks, that really want to dive deep into these movies and or watch and discuss, talk with friends. To them, I'd be like, go watch it on probably not Netflix. Go watch it in the theaters. I need better quality from Netflix.
Yeah, you're not going to get that from Netflix.
Yeah.
No matter
Uh,
what you're watching on there, you're not going to get it.
yeah. What?
Especially on like movies or shows or whatever that have darker scenes. Like try watching a horror movie on Netflix.
It's gonna
It's
be
no
awful.
good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. What would you think
I
all around?
I really enjoyed this movie. I'm glad I watched it. It's kind of one of those movies from my perspective where I just kind of took it in and listened to the stories and kind of understood where the play and the characters and everything were coming from.
Yeah.
Performances were powerful. I think it's for being his last performance. It's I don't know how much of a higher note somebody could go off on,
Yeah.
and I would recommend it if you. Everybody has Netflix. I mean, I would definitely recommend watching it. Picture quality aside, because this movie isn't really about the picture quality. You know, like you said early on, it's about the performances, and I would not be surprised to see him. If the Oscars go normal, I would not be surprised at all to see him nominated for Best Supporting Actor for that, or
Yeah.
winning it for that matter. He killed it. He killed it for what the
Yeah.
part was. You know.
There were some interesting lines in that movie too. Like I don't know why I remember where when he's like talking to that one girl and he's like, "Can I introduce my red rooster to your brown hen?" And I'm like, "What is going on?"
that that whole interaction was probably one of the. I was like, man, this is feeling very. You're not doing this in 2020.
Right.
You know what
Yeah,
I
that
mean?
doesn't fly now.
No,
Um,
but
or or when let's see, Viola Davis as Ma Rainey was just drinking the Coke, and
mhm,
the camera angle, just I don't know what was going on there. That was a little much.
yeah. I mean, it wasn't a perfect movie, but
Yeah, it has
it's
its entertaining
it was a
parts, you
lot.
know.
It was a lot better than a lot of movies I've seen this year, particularly.
Yeah,
You know, with everything that's happened and all the movies that have been pushed back and everything, it's nice to mix it up.
yeah, I do like um, some variety on my movies that I watch.
Yeah.
I would never have picked this off a shelf, so I'm glad I went, into it completely blind again.
Hmm.
It seems like all the movies I watch, I go in blind. I have no idea what's going on. Uh, but yeah, so we both recommend, you
Yes.
watch this.
I do
Uh,
recommend watching this.
yeah, I
Do you,
recommend it also.
or do you have any last notes that you want to talk about at all?
Uh,
Anything you didn't
oh,
hit?
no, the only thing is make sure that if you're going to watch it, expect a play format. Don't watch this hate on it because it's not Michael Bay. Like you just watch it, for what it is.
If anybody's hating on a movie for not being Michael Bay, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, but that's all I got about this movie. Like I think everyone watching it's going to find something different.
Hmm.
Um, and I shared a little bit of what I found in the movie, and that's pretty much it.
Cool. Um, yeah. So we're planning on hitting. I think we've said in the last video we're planning on hitting Wonder Woman 1984 and
Yep.
Soul. We might also just hit random movies here and there, but we might have some guests on every once in a while. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah,
Yeah. Or just recommend a movie for us to watch.
yeah,
That's always fun.
yeah. If you have anything, yeah, post in the comments. Hit up us on our social medias.
Yep.
There's mine.
Mine's somewhere down there. Yeah. And like and subscribe to this video
All right.
and our channel. All right. See everyone next time.
Bye.